Bang. McCray walks in for the UCF touchdown.
Temple football takes its siege of the Knights to Central Florida, but UCF is able to crush the enemy and send Temple home unhappy.
Plus, basketball season is just around the corner, and we've got an update on the men's schedule. OwlSports Update is here, and it starts right now.
Hey, Owls fans, what's going on? For the final time in 2020, alongside Courtney Murphy, I'm JJ Mahowski.
Unfortunately, it is our last show. However, we'll make it count. From the turf to the water, more sports are getting back. But first, let's head up Broad Street. It's the same story we've been hearing so often this season. Temple football remains shorthanded of key players due to injuries and COVID protocols. At this time, 15 players are on the list, including 3 quarterbacks. Anthony Russo has found himself on both lists. First, he missed 2 games with a bad shoulder. Now, he's out after being moved to the COVID list. Sophomore Chad Beatty got injured in the game against SMU and sat out last game against UCF. Lastly, Rael Mitchell got injured in his first career start last week against UCF. None of them will be playing in this Saturday's game against the ECU Pirates, but who is true freshman Matt Duncan will be filling in. Saturday's game will be Duncan's first career start. This long list of those missing in action has really hurt the Owls, who barely have enough healthy players to field a team.
I don't want you guys to get caught by surprise at all, but Rael Mitchell will be out the rest of the year. So we'll start Matt Duncan at quarterback this Friday, and he'll be backed up by Kamal Gray, a true freshman walk-on. Yeah, I would have tried to reschedule those games, Mark. It's not that I did not want to play the games. I want the opportunities for the young men. But I think rescheduling would have given us our best opportunity, not competitively, but as far as numbers-wise and safety-wise. That was my opinion.
Problems continue to be a domino effect for football this season. But it is 2020, and the question is, what comes next? Joining us today to talk about those problems is OwlSports Update's Jack Lynch.
Hey, Jack, we mentioned the injuries a second ago, but what has been the biggest factor keeping Temple out of the win column in 2020?
Thanks, guys. The biggest factor holding the Owls back is inexperience. Not only does it affect the complexity of their play calling, but for multiple starters, this Saturday will be the first time seeing any playing time at the collegiate level. The Owls are going into this week's game against ECU with even more problems to juggle after last week's tough loss. With 3 of their quarterbacks missing due to injury and COVID protocols, the Owls now have to play with a true freshman quarterback, Matt Duncan, and an extremely thin roster.
Matt Duncan's a confident young player. He's definitely has a lot of time on his hands. He's going to be a great player in the future, and he's truly confident on everything he does. I believe in a lot in Matt. I feel as though he's going to get the job done this week.
It's hard, but next man up, that's how we have to play it, so that's what we're doing.
The challenge these past 3 weeks for Coach Carey has been getting enough guys on the field. With COVID-19 protocols and injuries tallying up, it's been impossible to get guys from here, Edberg Olson Hall, to here at the Lincoln Financial for game day.
That's normal football when you lose guys. You tend to trim things back for guys that weren't starters that now are. Obviously, with the numbers the way they are, it's really trimmed back.
It is kind of hard, but this is what we wanted to do. This is what we wish for. It may not turn out on our page, but the table's always turned. As of right now, you feel me? There's a lot of people learning new positions, new spots. They haven't played a lot, so we just gonna keep working, even though it is hard though.
Temple has won its last 6 games against the Pirates, making the all-time record 10-7 in Temple's favor. Coming into this week with 4 straight losses, The Owls desperately need a win, or they could possibly end the weekend in a tie for last place in the American. Reporting from main campus, I'm Jack Lynch, OwlSports Update.
Thanks, Jack. Both teams stack up evenly across the board. Each team has only one win this season. Both give up roughly 40 points per game and are both on a 4-game losing streak. ESPN gives ECU the edge with a 52% chance of winning this one. No fans allowed in this game due to new city COVID restrictions. However, Hoots from Home will be live with performances and commentary from the Fanatics. This game can be watched with an ESPN Plus subscription. Kickoff is at noon.
Checking back on last weekend's result for the Owls, it was ugly. Rod Carey reported that only 45 scholarship players traveled to UCF. After an early strip sack of Real Mitchell gave a UCF short field, Greg McCrae scores on 4th and 1 to go up 7. An interception leads to another short field and a touchdown to go up 14. Still in the first quarter, and it's Dylan Gabriel completing the pass to Marlon Williams, who, like Patrick Swayze, is doing some dirty dancing, then stays on his feet as he marches 50 yards down the field. It got ugly as the Owls were down by 21 points just 9 minutes into the game. Again, it's McCrae rushing for the short TD. Finally, Rory Bell gets the Owls on the board with this kick from 30 yards to begin the second quarter. The Owls didn't strike again until the fourth. A fumble gives Temple short field, and Onasis Neely runs the ball in for his first career touchdown in cherry and white. Temple falls to UCF, final score 38-13. The last time the Owls beat UCF, it was 2016, and Temple was under the command of head coach Matt Rule in a 26-25 road win. Almost 1,500 days after that win, and Temple still can't cross the Knights' moat and get into that win column. OwlSports Update's Belladia Moore joins us now with more on the Owls' struggles.
Thanks, JJ. Temple lost its 4th straight game on Saturday. The team was without key offensive players due to injury and COVID-19 protocols, which may explain why the Owls only gained 290 yards and 1 touchdown. Temple had to be almost perfect, undermanned and inexperienced. The Owls were heavy underdogs to a UCF team that had one of the nation's top offensive units. So when redshirt sophomore Real Mitchell turned the ball over on Temple's first 2 drives, it quickly became obvious that the team's evening in Orlando was going to be a long one.
Ball just didn't bounce our way. First one is held on to the ball a little too long. Second one, just didn't go our way.
The Owls were without starting quarterback Anthony Russo due to COVID-19 protocol, and that was just the beginning. Along the sideline, they were also missing wide receiver Randall Jones and offensive lineman Michael Neese. In all a frustrating time, Temple had less than 50 scholarship players in uniform instead of the 85 allowed by the NCAA.
Disappointed with the outcome. Obviously, the whole game boils down to the beginning. 2 turnovers in the first 3 drives, and dug ourselves a hole we didn't have the firepower to get out of.
The Owls have been playing from behind for much of this 4-game losing streak. The second halves have been the biggest issue, but against UCF, the game was really over after the first quarter when the Owls fell 21-0.
Despite the fact that the offense turned the ball over twice and the defense was in a bad position, we definitely could have done a little bit better to stop them and maybe get a field goal or something. But unfortunately, that was not the case, but we just got to push through it.
Seconds to go.
The Owls will take on East Carolina, who's 1-5 in the conference, this upcoming Saturday at home. A loss has the potential to drop the Owls into last place in the conference. Reporting for OwlSports Update, I'm Bella D. Moore. JJ and Courtney, back to you guys.
Men's basketball is just a few days away from its first tip-off of 2020. Coming up on November 28th and 29th, the Owls will travel to Connecticut to take part in the Hall of Fame tip-off tournament. They will return to the Philadelphia area for 3 Big 5 games in 9 days. The Owls will head to Villanova on December 3rd, take on LaSalle at home December 6th, and travel to St. Joe's on December 12th. With collegiate basketball ready to take the floor for the first time since early March, early rumblings of championship plans are emerging. A press release from the NCAA revealed its intentions to host 2021 March Madness in one city, similar to the Orlando bubble used by the NBA. Early reports from CBS and ESPN project Indianapolis to be the bubble city, but before any thoughts of Indianapolis, the Owls need to focus on a trip to Connecticut. Thanksgiving break at Mohegan Sun in Uncasville, Connecticut will be the first test for a young Temple team in 2020. OwlSports Update's Marco DeLuca brings you a closer look at the logistics of games 1 and 2 for Temple basketball.
40 teams. That's about 1,200 players, coaches, and trainers from each team throughout the country, all coming to Connecticut for the Hall of Fame tip-off tournament during an 11-day period, starting after Thanksgiving. The Mohegan Sun Arena will accommodate each team with all of the right COVID-19 protocols. This venue is calling itself Bubbleville and will operate similar to how the NBA bubble did in Orlando over the summer.
To be able to get started and actually have a season, it's a blessing, honestly.
Upon arrival at Bubbleville, each team will have their own floor in a 34-story hotel and be tested multiple times during the tournament. Because this is a fanless event, teams are encouraged to wear masks on the bench, but are not required. And Temple will do this all while trying to build continuity between the players and coaches on a team that returned only 2 starters.
It's been interesting to just kind of get acclimated with the guys. We've had a short turnaround, but it's been good because we've done things off the court to try to build chemistry with one another.
In the Naismith bracket, the Owls will face Rhode Island and Virginia Tech, 2 opponents that they haven't seen in over 7 years. Bubbleville will give the Owls an opportunity to build team chemistry and cohesion on the court. Reporting for OwlSports Update, I'm Marco DeLuca.
Mia Davis continues to be the talk around of the American in basketball circles. The senior recently was named to the Cheryl Miller Award watch list. This is the 2nd straight season she's been nominated for this award. The award recognizes top small forwards in Division I college basketball. The award will be presented in April 2021.
Out with the old for Temple Gymnastics. The team announced that it will be joining the Eagle Conference just in time for the start of competitions in the beginning of January. This is the first expansion of the conference since its founding in 1995. Temple joins Long Island universities as new members for 2021. The Owls spent 14 seasons in the ECAC with championships back-to-back in 2019 and 2020.
We now seen Owls back on the field, court, turf, and now on the water. The men's cruise team and the women's rowing team held their annual regatta, the Head of the Floodie, Saturday on the Schuylkill River.
The regatta is named after Temple's Dadville winning coach and rower, Jerry Flood. The 11-mile race, the longest of any competitive row every season, had this trophy, a tire with a signed yellow boot, waiting for the winner at the finish line. The race ended in a tie, so coxswains Julian Green and Evan Bunchian arm wrestled. Green's strength prevailed, giving the Rena bragging rights until next year. The Gavin White placed 2nd, the Marguerite was 3rd, in 4th place was the Curran, and the Hutton rounded out the field coming in 5th place.
This is the first time the women's rowing has participated in the regatta and the only inter-squad work this year. Senior Kat Pazdursky also became the first woman to ever single the Floodie.
In the absence of games this fall, teams have been looking for ways to introduce game-like situations to the practice facility. Temple's men's soccer took the field for a bit of a friendly competition last Saturday. Early on in the game, Mike Eijndahl is able to beat Liam Cummings for the first goal of the afternoon to put the black team up 1-0. Things stayed in a stalemate for most of the afternoon. Freshman keepers Owen Goronsky and Nicholas Hartman were put to the test, making a handful of saves. Finally, the Cherry team broke through to tie the game at 1 off the foot of Manny Echioa. As you see right here, a nice move by him and able to put it in the back of the net. Tie game 1-1 to finish the afternoon.
As we wrap up, we asked you guys last week, which team will win more games this season, men's or women's basketball? Women's came out on top for this one with 62% of the vote. And we may have a big debate for this week's Twitter poll, but we gotta ask, when is it okay to put up your Christmas tree? After Halloween? After Thanksgiving? Or should it wait till December? Or even Christmas Eve? You can only vote if you follow us at OwlSports Update on Twitter. That is it for me and JJ for this semester, but Inside the Nest is coming back on December 3rd to bring a complete analysis of the 2020 season.
OwlSports Update will return with our bellies full of turkey for one more episode of the semester. For the first time ever, Brooklyn Vaughn will join me on the desk in my final episode as a Temple University student. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody.